Hi everybody. I want to talk to you today about the microbiome, how important it is. And that's why I tell everybody that taking ion, which is what my dog, Truffles, and I do every day, why it's so important, because you'll know in a minute, okay? So what I want to talk about is the microbiome, which is, and you're going to be hearing more and more about it. In the last 5 years, there have been 50,000 studies on the microbiome, 10,000 a year. It's a lot of studies. And they're finally realizing that our gut is the center of our health and well-being. This is where it's all happening. The gut that is one cell thick, half a hair follicle cut in half thick. That is what, keeps the toxins out. That's what absorbs the nutrients. It's huge. And so I want to talk, I'm going to be talking more about this in different videos because it's so important. And I wish I had known about this when my daughter was alive, because she would still be alive. My daughter passed away because her gut was backing up on her kidneys and shutting them down. So that wouldn't have happened. She couldn't push anything out anymore. She had no elasticity in her gut lining, nothing. And I didn't know about ion. And so now I get very passionate because I don't want anybody else to miss out. So simple, so easy, but I don't think people realize how important this is. This is how healthy your gut is connected to everything. The microbes in your gut are connected to your heart, your lungs, your immune system. An example, with the virus and the pandemic, and how important it is to healthy gut, and that's where your immune system is. Like, in the first millimeter of your gut lining is 60% of your immune system, which is responsible for making 80%. It's the director for the immune system for the rest of your body. And the problem is we have leaky gut. I've had people say to me, my gut's fine. And my first thought is, you're living here, here in the United States, or probably anywhere on the planet. And now glyphosate, which is Roundup, is in 75% of our air, soil, and water. So there's no way your gut is okay. You have to have some form of leaky gut. It just has to be, because the glyphosate just wreaks havoc on your gut lining, along with antibiotics. People think that I haven't had antibiotics, in forever. Well, if you're eating animal foods, you're having antibiotics 3 times a day, because there are more antibiotics used in animals, on our animals, on the cattle, on the pigs, on the chicken, than on humans. So it's huge, the devastation going on, and there's so much more. With leaky gut comes the autoimmune diseases, the systemic stuff, which is arthritis, aches and pains, the digestive stuff, which is Crohn's and IBS, and of course leaky gut and SIBO, and then there's the then you get the things like Hashimoto's and lupus, and on and on and on, with these different symptoms that are all related to how well, if you have a healthy gut, you have a healthy person. So leaky gut right now is just a matter of what level you have, how chronic is it. So and what happens with your gut. And this is why that I found out about this when I was a buyer at a health food store. And I just, once I understood it was like, oh my God, this has been the missing link that I've been looking for decades. It really was. Because the studies show that within 2 weeks of taking ion, which is, vegan, tasteless, gluten-free, passes all the allergies and stuff that people would be concerned about. Within 2 weeks, your glyphosate levels in your body go down 23% and your inflammation by 17%. Inflammation is like rampant. That's what's causing everything. The body is supposed to, you get a cut, you're supposed to be inflamed because it's healing. But you're not supposed to be in chronic inflammation. Our immune system, our body is just can't keep up, with the devastation that's been happening to it. So, that's where I come back to, I say to people, we're so lucky. We're so lucky to have something as simple as this, a tasteless liquid. Take a teaspoon 3 times a day. I use the nasal spray also because this is the entrance, and this is where you breathe in. You want to block a toxin from coming into your body. You get these tight junctions in your nose healed up, and that's a natural gate. Mother Nature made that. That'll keep that out and just allow the good air to come in. And it's the same thing with our gut. It is perfectly made. The immune system is perfectly made to function beautifully, but we have to support it. And there's so many things that we do. Alcohol is deadly to the gut lining. Things like alcohol, smoking, heavy metals, antibiotics. There's heavy metals in pharmaceutical drugs. Think about that. We have 5% of the world's population, and we use 75% of the prescription drugs. This, any pandemic is waiting. This country is like all it did was expose on how unhealthy we are in this country. We're in longevity in life, we're like 42nd in the world. We should be number 1 for living long. We're 42nd in the world. By age 65, at least 70% of people have one chronic disease, and 68 2 chronic diseases by the time they're 65. It's just a shame, in 1960, 4% of the total population of all ages had a chronic disease. Now, about 3 or 4 years ago, it was 46% of children by the time they were 18. In the last few years, it's now gone up to 54% of children by the time they're 16. There are tiny kids with all kinds of chronic diseases because we're just getting we're getting more and more unhealthy. We're the sickest country in the world. So, and it doesn't need to be, but it all starts with your microbiome. What is the microbiome? It happens to be bacteria, fungi, viruses, yeast, parasites. That's what makes it up. So there's this community. What is it? 10 trillion microbes in here. All right, microbial cells in your gut. That it's like your own personal rainforest, wanting to provide you, with all this wonderful health. I mean, people take probiotics. Well, something as simple as this goes far beyond probiotics, because when your gut lining is all healed and working well, then your own body creates thousands of strains to create this wonderful, healthy microbiome. But with leaky gut, there's no communication. And that's what disease is. It's a miscommunication. And all the studies are proving this, which is something I find fascinating, because I'm always reading and researching. So so, like within a half an hour, ion starts working on those tight junctions. And when you get your communication back, well, then, your microbiome knows how to support the different organs, the different parts of your body. And then, I say, this is the foundation to your house. This is your foundation to your house. You don't build the walls on the house without a foundation of some kind. You don't, look after the roof before you, look after the foundation. You start with the foundation all the time. So people will, and definitely your vitamin D, definitely your B12, absolutely. Oh, and and your magnesium and your zinc and your quercetin, these are all important. You want those to really work well? Heal the foundation first. Okay, heal. You got line. First of all, they're gonna definitely absorb better. My D levels are better now since I've been taking ion than they've ever been in their life. So I'm up in the 60s, and I want to go higher. But when you're above midpoint, you can't even get a cytokine storm. So and something about I keep going. The colds and the flus and all these things are going to keep coming. I mean, that's just what's happening. And so we can protect ourselves. We can start this is such an opportunity to get our bodies healthy. And there's one thing, the studies are coming through all the time. The latest ones was on doctors and nurses that ate a plant-based diet had 73% less chance of having moderate to severe COVID. Doctors and nurses who ate animal foods had a 50% more of a chance of having moderate to severe COVID. So, but you've got to start with your foundation, and then you start, and a healthy microbiome, which is like for your health, is so important. What it needs is a diversity of plant foods. That's what it needs to be. And fiber. There's no fiber in animal food. Zero fiber in animal food. So you need the plants, the fruits, the vegetables, the grains, the beans, the nuts, the seeds, all that stuff, which I was fortunate because my daughter, that's what kept her alive. That's what within 2 years, her 4-hour grand mal seizures were gone. I was fortunate that she taught me all about this. Diversity. I mean, and that's when I talk about cooking or doing a cooking. How many ways you can get as many different vegetables and fruits and grains and everything into your diet on a daily, weekly basis. A salad is one of the easiest ways. I mean, I made a salad the other day. I had 9 different veggies in it, and some cranberries too, and some pumpkin seeds too. And my own sprouts that I do. Everybody can do their own sprouts. So, and I grade everything. Make it easy to eat. Don't put big chunks in that are hard to eat. Just grade the stuff in with a lot of greens, and you're good to go. So diversity is so important, and diversity of plants. And, we can be healthy, but it's not something to take something just to mask, like no matter what, there is a place, at certain times for, in an emergency for medication, but they're not meant to be taken all of your life. They will mask the symptoms. They don't get to the core of healing. What gets to the core of healing is looking after your gut and making sure that microbiome, that your personal, you're a walking, talking rainforest, and you want to be a healthy one. So, and the first step is making sure that your body can heal up those leaky, where that gut lining is held together by these tight junctions, and that's where the leak happens. So you want to tighten them up. So this facilitates, this liquid, tasteless supplement, I guess we call it a supplement, heals that up, just facilitates that healing. And it's so simple, so easy. And yeah, unfortunately, we live in a toxic, crazy world. And glyphosate has been given permission to use it on our land for another 13 years. All right, it's already, in our air, soil, and water, 75%. That is shocking, unfortunately, but we can protect ourselves. We can do something. You look after your microbiome, and the first step in doing that is to repair the lining where your microbiome lives, where, your serotonin, the latest thing I've read was 90 to 96% of your serotonin is made in your gut lining, and it goes to your brain. That's to be calm and relaxed. Like I told you about the immunity, in the first milliliter, 60% of your immune system is made, but that's the director to produce 80% for your whole body. That's what you need. You need a strong immune system, and we can do that. We have the tools to do that. So when I'm, talking to anybody, I tell them about ion, and I tell them, this is your foundation. This is your starting point. The microbiome is it's the center, like I said, of your health and well-being. It's any of the diseases that are happening and are getting worse and worse, by 2035, things going at the rate they are, autism will be 1 out of 3. The cancers, everything is getting 1 out of 1 out of 2. And we can do something, and so I would just, the microbiome, I'm going to be talking about this. It's, and it's interesting that now that's all, 10,000 studies a year right now, that's all become, people are recognizing it. I hear a lot of people, I listened to this whole seminar about the microbiome. And a couple of the things like the probiotics, I have never, even when I was a customer and a buyer for a store, I've never been recommending probiotics because I believe in the natural ones like kimchi and sauerkraut. I have that every night at supper. I have some kimchi and sauerkraut. And miso, I make miso soup, and tempeh. I've never been big on the kombucha drinks. Personally, this is my opinion. They're a fad. They're not. They're kimchi and sauerkrauts, the fermented, are much better than that. So I've always gone for the natural ones. That's how I was trained up so many decades ago. And also then I learned that they create a monoculture. So really, they might be good for a couple of days, but they backfire you. It's much better to have a healthy gut lining and a healthy microbiome than to be taking the probiotics. You're much better off taking ion than a probiotic. And the probiotics come from animals too. So at least the ones I know to date, everybody's coming out with new and great stuff. We live in a great time as far as something like ion being here, and the alternatives we have to eating animals. It's just, I didn't have any of that when I started on this health journey. So it's pretty neat. It really is. So I just want everybody to know, go to your health food store, or I'll put the link online. But seriously, this is about a coffee a day. That's about it, the cost. My dog is on it. My dog, Truffles, is over 16 now, right, Truffs? And he's doing amazingly well for a 16-year-old. He did have a cough that's gone now. And periodically, when I take him out for a walk, he comes back in. He just bolts through the house like a bunny. He's like, or a little lamb. He really looks more like a little lamb when he takes off running. And you know, my hope for him is when it comes time, one night he just falls asleep and passes over. You know, so but he's only been on Ion for about a year and a half, but he's doing very well on it, and he eats better and everything. He doesn't have too many teeth left, but he's a good boy. He's a good buddy. So this is going to be, you're going to hear a lot about the microbiome. It's not complicated. It's all about gut health, and diversity of plants is what creates a healthy gut. But you got to heal the lining of the gut. And the only thing I know, if I learn something different, I'll let you know. People on these seminars talks about all kinds of supplements and herbs and vitamins, and I'm not saying, but I don't think, after the years I spent with my daughter, and I'm talking about, you know, cooking everything from scratch and fresh and daily, the hours I spent, and organic and good, I am 100% convinced that what I was missing was this. I didn't get a chance. I've mentioned it before, how so a young 8-year-old autistic boy go verbal in 3 weeks. There were times when my daughter, I felt like she was so close to talking. I didn't get a chance to try this. I wish I had because my gut, everything tells me it, I see it as a game changer. It would have been a game changer, And, my health has just gotten better. My thinking is better. Everything is better. My mood is better. Dealing with life is better. And I'm very fortunate at my age. And I'm very grateful to this plant-based lifestyle. But everybody, and the thing is neat is that study I talked about was with no change of diet or exercise. And within 2 weeks at the recommended doses, the glyphosate and the inflammation went down like that. I mean, that's huge. Can you imagine adding a plant-based diet to that and taking out the alcohol and taking out, as many pollutants as you can? Oh my goodness. I think it would be nice to see a study. I think it would even be better. So what I do to nurture this microbiome is that in the morning, I use a nasal spray. I've never been a big nasal spray person, but this is the entrance. The tight junctions can be leaky right here. So I protect myself by doing the nasal spray in the morning, and before I go to bed at night, that's when I do it. And then during the day, I do this 3 times. Then I'm very fortunate. I do celery juice. I do green smoothie, breakfast. Lunch the other day was a nishimi dish, which is diversity. It was 6 different root vegetables with some kombu sea vegetable, cooked slowly, delicious, melts in your mouth. And supper was a grain millet mixed with, cooked with cauliflower, and at the end I put some organic green peas in it, and some pumpkin seeds, ground up pumpkin seeds, and mixed it all really well together. And I have videos on that. And then I had some scrambled tofu, and I had a salad. By the end of the day, I had about 23 different vegetables. Diversity, plant-based foods, let's say. That's just the vegetables. I didn't count the millet. I didn't count the pumpkin seeds. So, and I don't even know if I counted the fruit I had. I had 3 or 4 different fruit. So, and I gotta tell you, years ago, to finish this off, I went to, I don't know what the guy was doing, energy work or something. This was a few decades ago with my daughter. And I was always searching. I was looking for alternative things to just give her a better life and make things better somehow for her. And he put us on a massage table. It was a seminar of some kind for a day. And I don't know what he was testing. I don't know whether it was muscle testing because it was a while ago. But the thing out of the whole group, my daughter and I, he said, my goodness, you guys must eat a lot of vegetables. So whatever he was testing, it was true. I said, yeah, we eat between 15 and 20 a day. I always cook them in the grains or in the beans or somehow. I'm always doing a lot of variety. And that started when I took my daughter to her first nutrition consultation with Michio Kushi, the head of macrobiotics on the East Coast of the United States. When I took her there, and after the consultation, there's all these new dishes I didn't know about or anything that I now had to learn. But at the end, I had the knowing to say to him, what do I need to do as her mother and as the cook to make sure that my energy is going to be good to support her? And he told me, because he was Japanese, so, you know, his translation was eat wide. It was 40 years ago he's telling me to eat wide. What are the researchers telling us now about being healthy, the microbiome? Diversity. It's the same thing. Eat wide, you know, of all these plant-based foods. So I'm going to talk about this again. I just got a book on the gut immune connection, microbiome, you know, and I'm always reading, I'm always researching, sharing, and I'm just hopefully start doing this. If you're a highly sensitive person with severe SIBO or IBS or something like that, start with the baby. I would start with like a baby dose, or even just start with the nasal spray. By the way, this can be refilled from here, just so you know. So I would start like 4 or 5 sprays in each nostril, you know, 3 times a day. If you're a really highly sensitive person. Me, I'm not, but it did make some changes in my bowel movements, which meant things were healing and working, and that was fine. Then it levels out, and it's great. It's like I take my vitamin D every day. I take my B12 every day. I take my magnesium every day because there's not enough in the soils. D, you don't get it during the winter because of the angle of the sun. You know, and people go, oh, you know, well, I don't know if it's doing anything. Well, how do you know your vitamin D is doing anything? The only way you know is when there's a flu or a virus or a pandemic or something and you don't get it, and you're healthy and you don't get colds even or flus. So then you know, okay, or I test my vitamin D at least once a year at the end of the summer to find out where I am, to know how much I need to take. So it's the same thing, you know, glyphosate is around, folks, at least for 13 more years. Right now, this is the only thing I know that'll keep things under control, heal up that gut lining, so this rainforest, this microbiome, can work well, can support us, you know, support our lungs. It supports every organ, those microbes, and we need them. By the way, if you're too sterile, you're dead. That's just the way it is. When I was a kid, I played in the mud with my cousin. I remember the talk was that my cousin and I washed the neighbor's sheets in the mud that were hanging on the line. That was good. That was good, that mud. This little guy's good. Having a dog around because they're going out, bringing in these, we need these microbes. We need to be outside. We need to be walking barefoot on the earth. You know, people are healthier in the country. You know, we need that air and everything. So that's a beginning. I'm gonna do this again because it's all about healing your gut lining, getting the communication going. It's so important going forward from now on. It's so important just to protect ourselves. This is the time to build your health. It's now. It's not waiting. You know, people seem to wait. They eat carcinogenic foods, which are processed meats and animals and cheese. Cheese is cancer causing. And wait for the disease. No. Let's do the preventative now. Let's get strong now. So, and you'll feel so good. Also feel so good. So I hope this has helped. Until the next time, I really appreciate this. And, my only regret is, and that's why I guess I share Ion with everybody. I'm so glad I found out about it. And I just want to share it with everybody. It's so easy and it's doable.